Hey everybody, so for today's scary story I wanted to talk about the legend of Slenderman. I've gotten quite a few requests from you guys for me to talk about Slenderman, and previous to this I really didn't know anything about Slenderman. Slenderman was created June 8th, 2009 on a website forum. Slenderman first appeared on a website forum called Something Awful under a category called Create Paranormal Images. The first image of Slenderman was of this tall, kind of dark, faceless, blurry figure standing next to a tree. The idea behind the photograph was that it was like a found footage kind of a thing, so underneath the image was a brief little quote description of kind of where the image came from. And it says, "One of two recovered photographs from the stirring city library blaze, notable for being taken the day which 14 children vanished and for what is referred to as the Slenderman. Deformities cited as filmed effects by officials. Fire at library occurred 1 week later. Actual photograph confiscated as evidence. 1986, photographer Mary Thomas missing since June 13th, 1986. This particular post became quite popular, and others on the forum, as well as on the other folklore, urban legend sites and enthusiasts, decided to create their own idea and description and history on Slenderman. Some even created a backstory stretching out to the 16th century in Germany and even to 5000 BC. The creator Victor Surge added a few more photos, and along with other people who started creating their own Slenderman photos, and it just took off from there. With Slenderman, the difference between him and any other villain, whether it be fact or fiction, is that he actually doesn't kill or harm his victims. He basically supposedly influences his victims to partake in rituals, to sacrificial rituals in his name, or commit crimes and do bad things to other people. Supposedly he's seen in the woods, if you're walking in the woods by yourself and you see him at a distance, or if you're around an abandoned house and you see him in the window. Slenderman is described as this really tall, lanky, slender 8-foot man of sorts, I guess, and he's said to have no face. And I'm sure some of you have seen images online, so it's just a white blank face and in a nice suit with a tie, and he's just kind of dressed pretty decently for a villain. Another thing about Slenderman is that he's purely created from the internet, and the most disturbing thing is that he's been now created into this real monster that young folk, I don't want to say children, but I guess, if you're 10, 12, 13, you're still like a child. And the younger folk of today are convinced that he is real. Most of them. I'm sure not everybody. But if you've heard on the news, recently there's been a few things that children have done in the name of Slenderman. One case in particular was, of the two girls that they stabbed their other friend in the name of Slenderman as a sacrifice, because supposedly if they stabbed her, that he would appear, crazy. And the crazy thing, when I went online to do research on Slenderman, the first thing that pops up was breaking news, teenager sets fire to house with family inside in the name of Slenderman. It's crazy how something that a man created, a human created, as just a meme that thought, hey, it's creepy, and maybe it'll look creepy, and that's about it. And it turned into something way more. It's blown up into way more than he probably would have ever guessed, and that anybody would have ever guessed. And it's amazing how vulnerable younger folk are, basically, to creepy things like this. And then there's this video game, where, you walk around in the woods by a chain link fence, and all you do is you collect these pieces of paper, and Slenderman's in the woods, and your camera will tweak out, or you'll see him and he'll just make you disappear or something. It doesn't actually hurt you. It's just kind of the suspense and jump scares that get you. I also read that the handful of children that have committed crimes, I guess, in the name of Slenderman have had mental health issues, and so they're starting to associate the Slenderman thing and kids acting out in the name of Slenderman, they're associating it with mental illness. So a lot of these kids already have something's not right in the head, I guess. And apparently there's like this huge trend on Twitter about Slenderman. There's like creepy poems about him, and they call him Slendy for short, and there's like all these other names associated with Slenderman. Now there are other, I guess you can call them mythological I don't know, what would you call Slenderman? It's not like a mythological creature, although they say that Slenderman is very similar to other folklore and other urban legends around the world, and that he could very well be real according to other legends and other beliefs. But there are a couple other, I guess, urban legend characters. So like the Rake, but he's different to the Slenderman. So I've heard of people mixing them up or calling them the same thing, but there's actually a difference, and I learned that because I actually, you know, when you type in Slenderman, you get the Rake and you get a couple other creatures, and I actually, you know, before I did this research, I actually kind of thought they were all the same, but they're not. They're different. So what I would like to know from you guys is if you think he's real, or if you think he's totally fake. From what I've read, he's just man-made and it just internet created, just blew up. Do you think that if you believe in something so much that you are convinced that it's real, or does it actually manifest into something that's could potentially be real? Let me know in the comments down below if you think he's real or not, if you've seen him, if you know someone who's seen him, or if you just think it's total BS and it's just a creepy story. Let me know down below, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye!